Welcome to this exercise on the BCG matrix. Here we have for 4 business units the company's sales for 21 and 24 and the respective sales of our competitors. Our task to construct a BCG matrix placing the 4 business units of the company, and since we are talking about real market growth in the context of the BCG matrix, we also need an inflation rate, which here will be assumed to be 4.5%. To start with our analysis, or with the construction of this matrix, we first copy the data from the exercise text, and based on this data, we're going to calculate 2 statistics. We're going to calculate the relative market share and the real growth rate. Relative market share is relatively easy to be done. We just have to consider we're here in 2024, so we consider data for 2024. Then we're going to take our value, let's say for A, and divide it by the respective value of the competitor. So this relative market share results as 800 divided by 900. And we do this for the other business units comparatively. So here it's 800 divided by 1,300, 600 divided by 400, and 800 divided by 500. With the real growth rate, we actually have to do a little bit more. For this, we first need to know the overall market size in both years. Overall market size means how much sales are there taking my company and the competitors together. So for A, in 21 we have 500 plus 600. In 24 we have 800 plus 900. So we actually work with 1,100 and 1,700. Then we're going to divide the large or the later one by the previous one. So we go 1,700 divided by 1,100. That's the first step. In the second step, we need to take this to a certain power. For the power, we have to consider how many years are there to be considered with the growth rate. Here we have to change from 21 to 24. So this covers 3 years. And then we have to take the third root out of this quotient we just calculated. So 1,700 divided by 1,100, thereof the third root, third because of 3 years. From this we subtract 1. This gives us the nominal growth rate. Since here we're talking about real growth rates, we also have to subtract the inflation rate, which we're given as 4.5%. So in addition to this, we're going to calculate as well minus 0.045 from those values. This gives us here for the business unit A 11.12%. With business unit B, the old value is 1,900, the new value 2,100. So we go 2,100 divided by 1,900. Out of this again, third root, minus 1, minus 0.045 inflation rate, giving us a real growth rate of minus 1.11%. We do this respectively for C. Here we start with 1,000 divided by 800, third root thereof, minus 1, minus inflation rate. Finally for D, we have 1,300 divided by 1,400, third root thereof, minus 1, minus inflation rate, giving us in total these numbers. And well, we had also the relative market shares. So based on relative market shares and the real growth rates, we can then assign each business unit to one of the quadrants. The cutoff point for relative market share is 1. So do we sell more or less than the competitors? Less, it would be smaller than 1. Larger than 1 means we sell more. For the real growth rate, we would consider as cutoff point 0, meaning the market is shrinking or increasing. Boston Consulting themselves, for example, set a slightly higher cutoff point, say something around 10%, because for them it's important that this is a market with actual growth potentials. So here they would disregard this one and consider this not worth as well, but this just slightly. Well, for us, we take the more natural version and say, well, we consider only difference between shrinking and increasing markets. So here we have underperforming market share, but overperforming growth market. So it's in a good market, but we are not currently doing so well in this market. So this is a question mark. We're doing not so well in a shrinking market, so this is a poor dog. We're doing well in a growing market, so here we have a star. And here we're doing well in a shrinking market, so this could be considered a cash cow. Then I can just copy and move this table upwards and illustrate this in a graph as well, which would look like this. Here I added as well the overall sales from my company in 2024. This gives the size of the bubbles in this bubble chart. This is always an additional nice tool because this shows us which areas are actually important for our sales and which are not this important. So if I, for example, have a relatively large star, I'm doing quite well. But if I have only small stars but one very large poor dog down here, then even though most of the business units are performing quite well, overall speaking, this might not be this good of a situation. Well, in either case, that's how the respective BCG matrix would look like. Well, that's then about it on this exercise. I hope you enjoyed it. I say goodbye and see you next time.